Tesla stock has officially broken down today under your last level of strong support. What does this mean and what do you need to know as a Tesla stock investor? We will also go over all of your Tesla stock breaking news today, what Elon Musk just said, what the data looks like for Tesla, and what's going on in the broader markets. Before we get into all of that juicy information, hit that like button as well as subscribe to the channel. It costs you absolutely nothing to do so, and it's free 99. It helps push these videos out to as many people as possible that I would imagine need to hear this information, considering Tesla's stock is down another 3.5% today. So first things first, what's happening with Tesla today is Tesla cut prices for the Model Y, the Model S, and the Model X on Saturday in the US by about $2,000 a piece. As Gary Black estimates, that could cost Tesla about 20 cents of EPS for a full year. On Sunday, Tesla cut prices of the Model Y, the Model S, and the Model X in China as well, about $2,000. And that could cost Tesla another 20 plus cents of EPS. That's why Tesla stock is falling today. You also had this news that came out that says Tesla laid off its entire 40-person US growth / advertising content team last night, according to Bloomberg. And it says there were also significant layoffs in Tesla's design studio and staff located in Hawthorne. The company still has a smaller marketing group in Europe. This comes still as Tesla is advertising about 4,000 different ads with Google, and it really makes you wonder, one, why is Tesla laying off? It just seems like everyone at this point. How bad is the business truly? And is Tesla's advertising strategy helping at all? A lot of the bulls, like Gary Black and some institutional investors, wanted Tesla to advertise because maybe that could have helped Tesla. And it doesn't seem like that is doing much of anything, at least according to this recent round of layoffs. And I will say, just overall, we've gotten a lot of negative news as far as shareholder value in the last 2 weeks or so, heading into Tesla earnings, especially those layoff news. I mean, that's positive for a lot of companies that are not already looked down upon on Wall Street as a struggling company, right? If Apple comes out and lays people off, that's seen as positive. Microsoft and Google and all of these other stocks, that's seen as positive. The stock usually reacts positively. Even PayPal did well on their layoff news. But heading into earnings, it doesn't look great, number one. And for a company like Tesla that really waited to lay people off, and now you're seeing deliveries coming in light, markets are assuming the worst. That's the bad part about uncertainty. Markets tend to, be too bullish and too bearish. The question is, are the markets too bearish on Tesla right now? And is the situation not as bad as what the markets are expecting? And I'll tell you right now, Tesla stock at $142 per share, the markets are expecting a pretty doom and gloom situation coming tomorrow on Tesla's earnings call. And as I have mentioned before, Tesla stock is expected to move big time, over 10% coming tomorrow, up or down. So just imagine if things are really good, then Tesla stock could move up 10 plus percent, 20% possibly. If things are bad, Tesla stock's going to move down another 10%, maybe even closer to 20% this time. As Dan Ives believes, this could cause a re-rating in Tesla stock if we're not getting the robotaxi anytime soon, if there's no definitive guidance on the robotaxi, and there's no definitive guidance on the Model 2 for customers. Then I think he's correct in saying there could be a gap in growth for Tesla. And I think that's the biggest thing we want to be watching for on earnings, if you are bullish or if you are bearish. If you are bearish, that's really the thing that I think is no longer priced into Tesla stock. Tesla cut prices. It's clear they're going to sacrifice margins. They're going to fluctuate pricing. I think we understand that now, and I think that's probably priced into Tesla stock. If Elon comes out on the earnings call and he says, yeah, we may cut prices again, well, he just did like 2 days ago. So that's not going to be a big surprise to anyone. But if he comes out and says, yeah, we don't know when the robotaxi is coming, we don't know when the Model 2 is coming, but it's coming, that's a problem. Now, if Elon Musk comes out and says, yeah, second half of 2025, we could see the robotaxi network become up and operational, Well, I would expect Tesla stock would do very well on that news coming tomorrow. After all, Charity Trades on X says, according to James Doma, Elon/Tesla can see up to 6 months ahead of what the public has access to in regards to full self-driving. And Elon Musk says James is largely correct. We know roughly what the car will do in 3 to 6 months. When a more advanced AI model is trained, it will have several breakthroughs, but also dozens of bugs where it performs much worse. Takes a few months to fix those bugs and complete safety test. This could say that maybe Elon has enough clarity in Robotaxi to project a guidance for the Robotaxi network. Right? If you're expecting this much improvement in the next 3 to 6 months, assuming a rate of improvement that is a little bit slower, let's say 25% slower, to compound that over the next, 4 quarters, maybe you could say in 4 quarters, in let's say 3 rounds of improvement from the Robotaxi compared to what Tesla is working on now, you may be able to launch the network, possibly. It wouldn't surprise me if you did get guidance from Tesla on just that. But if we don't, again, get guidance on the Model 2 for consumers or definitive guidance in paper and writing for the Robotaxi, well, yeah, we can kiss Tesla stock goodbye for the relative near-term future. And that's not me trying to be doom and gloom, but the multiple will likely fall at that point, right? The drop you've seen in Tesla stock has been largely based just on EPS declining, EPS estimates declining. You haven't really seen the multiple decline either. Well, if the multiple falls to, let's say, 45 times $2 of EPS, then you're looking at a $90 stock. And don't ever underestimate the algorithms and the programs on our markets and what they can do to a stock. Let's be honest. I think if you are a hedge fund or institution, or if you're a retail investor that is overall bullish in Tesla, that own Tesla stock, you either sold your position already. I mean, there's probably very little long-term holders selling in the 140s. Like, this is now the point you break. It wasn't, 200, 180, 170, 160, 150. It's 140. No, it's a lot of this is selling pressure due to algorithms and also shorts. Shorts are taking on some pretty big short positions right now. You have a short position of free flow at 3.88%, $15.81 billion currently in short positions. You do have 107.51 million shares that are currently sold short, with about 25.83 million shares that are currently out on loan. Take a look at the cost to borrow fees today. I don't know if you guys can see this, and I can't really move myself, so I'll just take a quick screenshot so you can see this. Cost to borrow fees today are 356% for your cost to borrow fee max. That's insane. That's ridiculous. Now, I'm sure it's not that high, but even a fraction of that would be off the charts for Tesla. Now, other stocks can get to cost of borrow fees that are 300+%, but Tesla, yeah, you don't see that every day or every year or every couple of years. Option activity today in Tesla stock. You have seen 922 orders totaling $507.31 million with a positive order value of 50%. Nick Cruz here on X says, I'm not going to lie, Tesla could have done a better job with their ads. They are all way too generic and just contained recycled B-roll footage. Elon Musk responds and says, exactly, the ads were far too generic. Could have been any car. Now, I think this is kind of trying to justify laying off their advertising department. I don't know if you can do that. At least if you could justify that to investors, that's fine. You can't justify that to the stock. The stock is still saying, hey, Tesla laying off more employees? This is not good. Tesla Thailand launched a special 2.49% interest rate program for Model 3 and Model Y customers. LG Energy Solutions is reportedly close to signing a contract with Tesla to supply $4.3 billion worth of battery material. Supply would begin next year. The material ordered is estimated to be installed in 1.3 to 1.4 million electric vehicles. Here you can see the new Model S Plaid Sport seats, and wow. Wow. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen more beautiful seats in my literal entire life. Tesla has launched a slightly redesigned vehicle order page. You can now more easily select between cash, lease, and finance methods. There's also a toggle to turn off estimated savings. Tesla China is celebrating its 10th anniversary since entering the country, they say on their Weibo account, thanks to more than 1.7 million Tesla owners. Ed Ludlow on X says, quote, there's a small number of highly promising and viable robotaxi-specific FSD neural nets in development. Dojo-based data centers in New York is getting close. The promising neural networks are quite a secret that only a few folks have access to. And that's mainly because you need a lot of real-world data to train a neural net network, and not a lot of companies have that. Now, as I said at the beginning of this video, you have now broken under your last level of support here in the near term, which was that $147 area. Things get very problematic under $147. You are sitting at $142.70 per share at the time of recording this video. The last time that you were here was when Elon was selling a lot of Tesla stock to fund the purchase of Twitter, now known as X. And there's not really any support under here. There's just not. Like, even going back years, I mean, you could say maybe around 120 or so, maybe 130 or so, you could see some support coming in, but they're not strong levels of support. There's nothing in recent years that is, under 147 that has served as support. If anything, the last support you've seen was about $100 per share back when Elon was selling stock in early 2023 to fund the purchase of Twitter, now known as X. So if you have bad earnings, Tesla is on the chopping block to see a big decline. And I've said this before and I will say it again, momentum is strong in either direction, to the upside or to the downside, and momentum is definitely to the downside right now. At the same time, I don't want to get too bearish in the near term because I do understand there's a lot of bad news priced in for Tesla stock. The way I'm looking at it is like this. I think there's a greater chance that Tesla goes up on earnings, that the markets think that, the situation's worse than it actually is for Tesla. But I do think if you fall, there's a much greater chance that you fall 15, 20% on earnings. So greater likelihood that you go up on earnings, but if you fall, there's a greater likelihood you fall a lot on earnings. And I don't know which one is better, okay? I do know for a fact there's going to be a lot of volatility coming tomorrow, and I also know for a fact you want to stay tuned to the channel for the video coming out later tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tesla's global inventory numbers for the Model Y sitting at about 6,600. You do have the Model 3 trending upwards. That is great, sitting at about 2,500. The Model X also at about 2,500, and the Model S down here at about 1,200. Google Trends data for full self-driving still sitting at 100 if you look at 2004 until present day, but if we zoom in a little bit for the last 12 months, you can see full self-driving went to 100. It fell to as low as 39. Now it's estimated to be going back up to 60. This could be because Tesla just cut prices of full self-driving, the buyout price, and they cut the subscription price a week or two ago. And this could be spurring a little bit more search activity for Tesla. Take a look at Google Trends data for the Tesla lineup. The Cybertruck is going absolutely buck wild, sitting now at 71, which is by far the highest you have seen for the Cybertruck besides the day it launched. So organic search trend activity, not just investors searching about the Cybertruck, is definitely at an all-time high. The Model Y is jumping big time from 32 to 50, which is insane. The Model 3 is seeing a big spike as well from 24 to 31, but relative to these other ones, the Cybertruck and the Model Y, it looks like nothing. The Model S is going from 12 to 15, and the Model X going from 9 to 13, which are still huge jumps, respectively, for those two models. Over on StockTwits, no surprise, sentiment for Tesla is bearish at 43. Yesterday, you were neutral at 50, which again is no surprise because Tesla stock is down over 3% today. Message volume is higher at 57 today. Yesterday was at 36. So more people talking about Tesla, and that makes a lot of sense because what the hell is going on with Tesla stock? Participation ratio sitting at 56, which is high and a little bit higher than where we have been recently. As far as the broader markets, everything on an index level is doing pretty well. The Dow's up about 1%, same with the S&P. The Nasdaq up 1.21%. The Russell 2000 is up 1.15%. A lot of this is just a relief bounce. As I called out over this weekend, you are likely going to see some kind of bounce to start this trading week. I thought it was going to be on Monday, and it looks like that is happening. The real test will be whether or not we can get above that 100-day moving average, or if that serves as resistance and you end up falling back down. We don't have any big news or nothing that is really driving the markets in either direction right now. All eyes are on earnings for this week, as I have showed you guys a couple of times before. Here is the earnings calendar. Today in after hours, you don't have too many companies of importance. Cadence and SAP can be important, maybe. Tuesday, so tomorrow, pre-market, you have GM, the UPS, GE, Pepsi, Lockheed Martin, Spotify, RTX, JetBlue, Halliburton. And then tomorrow and after hours, you have Tesla, Visa, Enphase, Texas Instruments, Baker Hughes, Weatherford, and Mattel. And then later on throughout the week, a bunch of other earnings. Meta and Lam Research, as well as ServiceNow, will be important on Wednesday. On Thursday, it's all going to be about Microsoft, Alphabet, and Intel, as well as Roku and Snapchat. And this earnings season may show that, well, earnings are holding up. Guidance is coming in good. The forecast is strong. If it's not, that's problematic because I think a lot of your big tech stocks are still priced for a pretty rosy, optimistic situation. And if that's not what we get for earnings, and especially for forward guidance, there could still be substantial downside in our markets. Good news for Tesla, even if markets do fall further from here, Tesla's stock has already fallen a lot, so maybe could be due for a larger bounce. I think it's not going to take a lot of good news to get a larger bounce, but we'll talk about that more in the next video. You do have the MACD, which is pretty dang negative here. MACD line negative 8.06 and the signal line negative 5.73. You do have the RSI sitting at 28.12, so you're under 30 there. And well, every time Tesla gets to 30 on the RSI or under 30, you do tend to see a bounce. So let me know what you think about this information down below in the comment section. Hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.